Alright, let's dive into something that's both fascinating and incredibly practical, the journey to financial independence. But here's the twist. We're not talking about some abstract, unattainable dream. We're breaking it down into a 7-step ladder, thanks to a professor who started this journey at 38. Personally, I think this is where the story gets really interesting. It's not about being a 20-something tech millionaire. It's about someone who, like many of us, started later in life and found a way to make it work. So, let's unpack this. First off, what makes this approach so compelling is the idea of milestones. Instead of staring down this massive, overwhelming goal of financial independence, the professor, Miguel Marquez, breaks it into manageable chunks. It's like leveling up in a game, right? Each milestone gives you a sense of progress, which is crucial when you're dealing with something as long-term as retirement planning. What many people don't realize is that this psychological aspect, feeling like you're making progress, is often what keeps people motivated. Now, let's talk about the first milestone, debt freedom. Marquez mentions he borrowed money only once and quickly decided it wasn't for him. Here's where I think a lot of people get stuck. Debt can feel like a necessary evil, especially for education or starting a career. But Marquez's approach is a reminder that avoiding debt, or paying it off aggressively, is the foundation of financial freedom. If you take a step back and think about it, being debt-free isn't just about numbers. It's about reclaiming control over your life. Next up is FU money. Honestly, I love this term because it's so blunt. It's about having enough savings to walk away from a job you hate or take a career break without panicking. What this really suggests is that financial independence isn't just about retirement. It's about having options in the here and now. Marquez defines it as roughly 1 year of living expenses, which is a great benchmark. But here's the thing. This isn't just about quitting your job. It's about having the freedom to make choices without being handcuffed by money. Then we get to Coast FI, which is where things start to feel a bit more abstract. This is the point where your investments are projected to grow into what you'll need by retirement age, even if you stop contributing. One thing that immediately stands out is how this milestone shifts your mindset. You're no longer in survival mode. You're playing the long game. Marquez reached this in his mid-40s, which is a great reminder that it's never too late to start. But what's really fascinating is how this milestone frees up your income for other priorities, travel, hobbies, or even further investing. Flamingo FI is where things get a bit more nuanced. It's about reaching half of your full financial independence target. What makes this really interesting is the metaphor. Standing on one leg like a flamingo. It's precarious, but it's also a sign of balance and progress. From my perspective, this milestone is about acknowledging that you're halfway there, which can be a huge psychological boost. It's easy to get discouraged when you're years away from your goal, but this milestone says, hey, you're closer than you think. Now, Lean FI is where Marquez currently is. This is financial independence with a minimalist twist. Your investments cover essentials, but there's not a lot of room for splurging. A detail I find fascinating is how Marquez's low cost of living in Shenzhen plays into this. He lives in subsidized housing and covers his annual expenses with just 30% of his income. This raises a deeper question. How much do we really need to live a fulfilling life? Lean FI challenges the idea that financial independence has to mean luxury. It's about freedom, not excess. The next step is full financial independence, or traditional FIRE. This is where you've saved about 25 times your annual expenses and you can withdraw 4% annually, adjusted for inflation. In my opinion, this is where the rubber meets the road. It's the point where you're truly free from the need to work for money. But here's the thing. It's not just about the numbers. It's about the peace of mind that comes with knowing you're secure. Finally, there's FAT FI, which is essentially financial independence on steroids. It's having enough to support a lifestyle with plenty of discretionary spending. Personally, I think this is where the narrative gets a bit tricky. Marquez isn't compelled to reach this level because his lifestyle is already abundant on a smaller budget. This raises a deeper question. Is FAT FI about true freedom, or is it about keeping up with societal expectations of success? It's a great reminder that financial independence is deeply personal. So, what's the takeaway here? For me, It's that financial independence isn't a one-size-fits-all goal. It's about breaking it down into manageable steps and finding what works for you. Marquez's journey shows that it's possible, even if you start later in life. And honestly, that's what makes this story so inspiring. It's not about being perfect, it's about making progress, one milestone at a time. So, here's my question for you. Which of these milestones resonates the most with where you are right now? And what's the first step you can take to move closer to your own version of financial freedom?